welcome once again to Discovering Wellness, learnings from corporate wellness seekers. And what a fantastic corporate we have with us today. The person is the associate director of a company called Cognizant. He's a passionate healthcare and well-being follower, and he is also involved with the US insurance industry. So there are so many aspects of this person that we're going to dive into today and understand what what makes wellness tick in all of these circles. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Chayan Pant. Hi, Chayan. Welcome to
Hi,
Discovering
Sandeep.
Wellness.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. And I know I did not do enough justice to the width of work that you and Cognizant have been doing in this space. So I'd like you to just start with telling our viewers what exactly you've been up to and what they can expect to learn from here.
So, see, I think my organization is a global IT company and they are invested in different verticals, healthcare being one of the largest ones. But I think what we are trying to do is how do we help our clients, which are, hospital groups or insurance company, have the best service experience, and in the US it's called member experience, for their patients, for their members, to ensure that they lead a much more healthier life. And that's very important because as we are into this new age lifestyle, we are slowly realizing the toll it's taking on our health. And I think we are in this era where tech enabled solutions are going to play a very pivotal role. We already see the smartwatch explosion, so as to speak, where everybody's moving around with a smartwatch, which is gathering data from your heartbeat to your stress levels to your oxygen levels and so on and so forth. And I think everybody understands the importance of being healthy, right? And the fact that this entire healthcare industry, people, especially from an India context, I think people are now getting up to this reality that, and largely precipitated through urban living and urban lifestyles where, you have people who are probably not getting adequate sleep or not eating right or not exercising or just not doing the bodily functions that our forefathers were doing. And as a consequence, paying for that with bad health and realizing that they need to do something about it. So I think
So
that's
true.
where all these solutions are headed to ensure that we can have a more healthier world and healthier people in it.
Awesome. So when you're looking at the insurance companies, for example, reducing their premiums, you're looking at making people healthier. And is that something that Cognizant or you are directly involved with?
I'm just a small part. I think a larger organization is involved, and we work with our healthcare partners to look at what can be some of the solutions that we bring in. Right now, the solution can be a simple thing as how do you engage a member to go to a gym, right? You may have family telling you that you might not do that, but can you enable through technology a solution which can encourage people to do that? Now, a classic case in point is this entire system of gamification where you have an app where it kind of rewards you for every step that you've taken or the number of steps that you take in a day or the number of stairs that you have climbed in a day and so on, right? Just essentially encouraging you to lead a healthy lifestyle. Now, there are no coins or there is no money coming over there, but this entire uh, the competitive spirit of people to ensure that they are winning in a game,
Hmm.
ensure that they actually work proactively in also becoming healthier. And I think that's where a lot of technology and solutions that we bring in come into the fore.
And do you bring in those solutions within the organization as well? What are the things that you guys in the IT industry are doing
We,
to
we
promote
do,
wellness?
we do, we do. In fact, I think in terms of my organization, I can always say that we practice what we preach. So, we some of the solutions that we sell to clients, we internally also put into place, right? In terms of, so we have partnerships with other vendors where we have apps which is tracking how we are eating, advising us whether how much of calorie we've consumed, how can we probably have other alternatives that can come in, which is tracking, our physical activity, it is tracking our sleep cycle to see. In fact, I remember there's one particular app that I consciously use where it actually tells me every day that if there has been a deficit of my sleep. in number of hours. So,
Mhm.
I am aware that, hey, you know what, I am probably not resting enough and I need to do that. And sometimes we tend to forget that, in a very fast paced corporate life with, late night calls and things, we may kind of ignore that. But I think these partnerships, they make us mindful that we also need to have equal importance to our own body.
So true, Chen. That's so well said. Now, apps is one thing where, yes, they are kind of reminders and they're probably making us more mindful. How nice, sweet way of looking at it. But what are the other kind of initiatives that you find that are working to empower people and to bring teams into wellness together?
So I know that, I am currently in a plan where I have access to a nutritionist and an exercise coach who are now, available on demand. So I just need to click an app on my phone and I'm on a video call with them. So if I'm doing an exercise and I'm not sure that I'm doing it right or I'm facing some discomfort, I don't need to wait for a weekly session to interact with them. I can do it right on there on demand and address my problem. So with better access to information, I think people are more in control of how they monitor their health and manage their health.
Fantastic. Those are some great initiatives. Are you also doing something to evaluate how it's working, like routine assessments and how you can balance whatever you're doing? Maybe you're overdoing something and stuff like that.
I believe that data gives us those pointers. Data gives us those early indicators. Now, it's not so much of a problem to even get your blood evaluations done. With
Hmm.
advancements that have happened, you can have someone come home and take those samples. You don't need to go to a lab and sit over there, right? The
True.
reports are coming within a day into your email. You don't need to go to a lab to take your reports and then go to the doctor. That data can be synced to your doctor so they get an alert the moment there is a change in your parameters and they can take timely intervention. The nutritionist can take timely intervention and so on. So the, da- the data is there and people are making sense of it. And that those interventions are, I think, something which is timely and the need of the hour.
Great. We're going to talk hours and hours on data because that is the new religion. So I'm not going to enter that space now, except that, at the Wellness Seekers Academy, we help organizations collect data which is individual balance based. So how are you doing in the 8 dimensions of wellness, which would mean to include not just the physical and mental, but also aspects of spiritual wellness, occupational wellness, financial wellness, and stuff like that. But that's a story for another day. Right now, what I want to know is what's not been working in in all these kind of initiatives that you have been taking, which are stupendous, of course.
So what has not been working at some areas is probably adherence, right? Um I have come across instances within my friend circle where they have access to all the solutions, but they will go and track food that they have not eaten, so they will be having pizzas and tracking that they've been having salads, right? Not realizing that they are only fooling themselves. Well, that's been there.
Okay.
And I believe a lot of it, as you rightly adhere to, is coming from mental wellness. It's something which is ignored in this entire thing. But physical wellness it actually is an extension of mental wellness. If you are mindful of your surroundings, of what you're doing, it, it kind of manifests into your physical being as well. So I believe a lot of people are now rediscovering our ancient wisdom of meditation and yoga, and ensuring that they are more mindful and probably getting more healthier mentally, and that in terms of having regular sleep and following a set pattern rather than trying to just push boundaries and taking allowances with their body. They are probably more focused in terms of ensuring that they have a balance between both. Work life balance is a buzzword, but I think now people are really taking steps to ensure that that happens.
Fantastic. And what would you like to see happening in the future? How do you see the trajectory going?
I think the way things are moving in, the future looks exciting. Future looks exciting because right now the focus may have been, and if I take an India context, for example, it's probably more focused on the urban centers. And that's the reason why, with due apologies, the cola companies have a rural penetration now because they're realizing that the urban, citizens are probably moving away from an unhealthy lifestyle. the future is going to be going rural, and telling, the people over there who are possibly just copying an urban lifestyle, thinking that that's the best way to be, telling them that, your traditional way, which the urban citizens are now copying, is probably the best way to be. So I think I'm looking at, apps, solutions going globally, this discrimination between developed and developing nations going away. And I think internet has been a big leveler over there, so it is not necessarily that the technology has to be physically present in that country. There is so much that's now happening virtually, telemedicine, etc. is ensuring that if you have an internet connection, you may be in the remotest part of the world, but you can
Yeah.
have access to knowledge, access to a physician who can help you.
But let me get this straight. You're not saying that you're foreseeing the rural conversion into the kind of urban habits in this decade, are you?
There are early signs that that's happening, and I think it's largely driven by uh, advertisements, right, which are focused into that area here. I mean,
So
I
that's
without
something
naming,
that we must be lobbying against, no? Because we know where they've gone wrong.
it is, and I think a lot of these outreach programs that are happening with rural sectors is focusing on this area, right? And I think if I look, probably tie it up, some of the recent pronouncements of the government, they've actually been encouraging, rural lifestyles in terms of how do you consume local foods,
Yeah.
traditional foods, etc. Even cultivate them, because at one point people had stopped cultivating them because they were not maybe lucrative enough from a farming perspective. But I think there's a lot of things happening there. There is a lot of work, research happening in terms of how do you take these rural ingredients and create food, dishes out of that and make people aware of that. So I think that is going there. But then on an opposite side, there's also this heavy penetration of advertisements, and sometimes this peer pressure works. And I think it's not so much on the middle-aged and the elderly; it's probably the younger people in the rural hinterland who have access to a smartphone who are probably
Mm,
getting, influenced
the
by this.
smartphone is doing its own job. Yeah. Gosh, that's a little tragic and dismal. But the good thing is that the urban is finding sense of health and the use of apps and stuff like that to stay on track. And that's a very interesting point you brought up about adherence, which of course one aspect is about fooling oneself, and the other aspect is about creating habits so that you can adhere more easily. The mind doesn't get distracted. What do you think about that?
See, I think the entire drive and the entire focus is to live healthy, right? Not just focus on exercising and eating right, but the overall physiology, the overall habits that you are imbibing are based on remaining healthy, right? It's not so much just follow some fads which are there. Of course, there are some people who follow fads as well. But I think there's a conscious realization that we need to make that effort in ourselves and ensure that we are doing the right thing. So I think a lot more people are voluntarily getting into this rather than being pushed, right? And then we also have so many examples of people who did not follow this and the consequences that they had to, you know, face
Right.
because of it.
Right, Jed. Great insights there. Thank you so much for being with us on Discovering Wellness. And viewers, thank you for being here and looking forward to having you continue this journey with us every Tuesday afternoon, India time, with a new episode. Look at the library of past episodes at the Wellness Seekers Academy on LinkedIn, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.